Hey guys, Blackmagic RAW was released on Tuesday for the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K via Camera Update 6.2, and for all you trolls in the comment section, yes, I am finally satisfied. I made a video about update 6.1 a couple weeks ago, and I really wasn't happy that Blackmagic RAW wasn't included in that update. Fast forward a few weeks and we finally have BM RAW on the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Kudos to Blackmagic for making this happen. This is definitely the update that we've all been waiting for. So what does this update mean? Well, we no longer have the previous RAW format that was available on this camera prior to the update, so RIP to Cinema DNG. The two recording codecs that are now available on this camera are ProRes and Blackmagic RAW, which I believe make this camera a strong candidate for a very modern and efficient workflow. Cinema DNG is tried and tested and has been used for years now, but I think it's finally time we start to look beyond it with more efficient and post-processing friendly RAW formats. Blackmagic RAW is exactly that. This is a modern RAW format with remarkable bitrate options and great post-processing efficiency. I think that Cinema DNG and other older RAW formats have always been a challenge for shooters, mostly because of the high bit rates and ridiculous file sizes. Most of these traditional formats record in frames without any audio track and at very high bit rates. So what you essentially end up having is a lot of images or frames on your computer that have massive file sizes that need to be combined. It's such an archaic workflow that requires a very powerful computer, and it's just outright a pain in the ass to work with. Blackmagic RAW fixes all of that, period. And now shooting RAW doesn't have to feel cumbersome and unapproachable anymore. Blackmagic RAW 3:1 has a similar bitrate to ProRes 422 HQ on the Pocket 4K, which is pretty amazing. I'll simply just go through all the compression ratios this format has to offer really quickly and what they mean. So we have 3:1, 5:1, 8:1, and 12:1, which are compression ratios. For example, a compression ratio of 3:1 produces a file size that will be about a third of the size of uncompressed RAW. Those are the constant bitrate options, but Blackmagic went even further and introduced constant quality recording options too. There are two constant quality settings, Q0 and Q5. These constant quality settings are essentially variable bitrate recording formats. So what this means is that the codec is actually smart enough to figure out that certain scenes require a little bit more bitrate in order to maintain a certain level of quality. This can be pretty useful in busy scenes like waves in the ocean or areas with large amounts of vegetation. The bitrates for Q0 at 4K DCI can range anywhere between 81 to 203 megabytes per second, and for Q5, 21 to 58 megabytes per second. This is all at 30 frames per second. The difference between Q0 and Q5 is merely just quantization. Q0 simply just aims to maintain a higher level of quality than Q5. So now you can shoot RAW files at bitrates that are no different than ProRes, and these files are very robust and retain all the benefits of a typical RAW format as you'd expect. At 12:1 RAW, you're shooting at a bitrate that is just slightly smaller than that of ProRes 422 LT, but higher than 422 Proxy, whilst retaining all that information from the sensor. It's mind-blowing. Now of course, as you'd expect, it's not all fun in the sun. As of right now, Blackmagic RAW can only be edited in DaVinci Resolve, and there's no guarantee of when it'll come to other NLE software. So if you do not have or do not know how to use Resolve, then you're out of luck. I also noticed that when you try to change the camera metadata in Resolve, it doesn't let you jump out of the native ISO range that you shot in. What this means is that if you shoot at any ISOs below 1000, then you cannot change your ISO outside of the range 100 to 1000 in post. And if you record at 6400 ISO, then you can only change your ISO within the range 1250 to 6400 ISO. Take a look at this clip I recorded. This was shot at ISO 100, and you can see that if I try to change the ISO in post, I will only be able to change it within the first native ISO range, which is from 100 to 1000 ISO. Now take a look at this second clip, which was recorded at ISO 1250. If I try to do the same on this clip, I can only change within the second ISO range, which is from 1250 to 6400 ISO. So DaVinci Resolve will split your native ISO into ranges with this codec. The best way to take advantage of this is to simply just shoot at the two native ISOs 400 and 3200 at all times. This will allow you to have a lot of room to change exposure by several stops high or low in post-production. So that is Blackmagic RAW, now available on the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. This is a huge addition, and for many this could be the difference between purchasing this camera and not. There's simply no excuse to not be shooting in RAW on Blackmagic cameras that offer this codec in 2019 anymore. What a time it is to be alive for small-time filmmakers and videographers. Thanks for watching and hope that this video has been useful to you. Please drop a like or a comment if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't enjoy it, make sure to hit that dislike button twice. If you're new to the channel, then make sure you're subscribed for more videos like this if you haven't already done so. Catch you folks in the next one.